Hi, everyone. Let me make sure the music is down just enough. Alrighty. So the new moon is like breathing down our necks. Let me see here. I got a new app from Sill's Suggestion. It's Moon X, and I love the widgets that they have. So we have the new moon is coming up on Monday. So this is our my current moon based off of where I am. Sorry, it's so hard to see with the lights. And the moon affirmation is I choose to be honest with myself and others. And you know what? I've been very honest with people at work, and I hope they can go screw themselves. So I hope you guys are being honest with yourselves and others. All right. So just a heads up, Luna is already circling like a shark, so she might be our guest for the entire night. I'm going to be doing our community read from the Divine Blood. Okay, come on. Let's go. Let's go uppies. From the Divine Blessings, and I am pairing it with the Unfolding Path Tarot. I really enjoyed that pairing last week, so I kind of want to see how it goes. If you're tipping, I will pull an extra blessings card for you or extra tarot. It depends. But let's see. Let's see here for our first card for the community. What blessing do we have? What blessing do we have as we go into the weekend? Oh, we have this lovely white horse. So if you saw my flip through of this, I thought this was a unicorn at first. Glance during the flip through. So this is the perseverance card. I definitely feel this in my bones right now. Let me read it. It says the path may be challenging and obstacles may arise. Do not let setbacks discourage you. Perseverance will strengthen your character and help you overcome any obstacle. So I'm definitely feeling this in my bones, and I've actually had a few people this week um, talk to me about being how patient I am and how their word wasn't per, perseverance, but they said something along those lines. So I love seeing this card pop up. I feel like it's validation for, you know, all of the crap that I've been having to put up with at work. And I hope for you guys, this is a sign that maybe if you haven't been um, persevering through whatever obstacles you're facing, this gives you courage to do so, or it just kind of gives you the kick in the butt to do so. And if you have been persevering, then just give yourself some kudos for that because it's difficult to do. So let's see what our next card is. We have, the lion, the namesake or the image sake of this deck. This is courage. And I think it's funny because I think I just said, find some courage to persevere. So I like that this card popped up. It says, be courageous enough to stand up for yourself, pursue your dreams, and step outside of your comfort zone. You will discover that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. So, perseverance, courage. I'm really loving this message. Feels very empowering right now. This might be more me than you guys, but hopefully it's something everybody in the community can take away. Let's see. Our last card is wisdom. Let me scoot this over. I'll put that there. So this is, I want to say this is like a gray wolf. This is the wisdom card. It says, open yourself to the profound wisdom that resides in your heart and soul. Let your inner wisdom guide you, leading you towards loving choices and decisions. You're a wise and entitled soul. I feel like when we go through situations that are a little difficult, a lot of times we forget to trust in ourselves and trust that we are going to make the right decisions for ourselves, especially when it feels like you're kind of powerless. So I feel like this wisdom card is really key for finding everything, finding ways to be courageous, finding ways to persevere, and And ultimately knowing at the end of the day, you can, if you can't trust in anything, you can trust in yourself. So, hi Luke, welcome. Just finishing up the community read. The queue is open. I have Kat, Kate, and Whimsically in the queue. So I hope you guys enjoyed the community read. If you would like cards pulled from this, to be honest, if you guys just want like a blessings reading, if you're not sure of really what you want, I can pull some cards from here for you. Otherwise, I'm gonna get this all shuffled and warmed up, and we will get started with the reading. So, Cat, Cat and Kate are gonna throw me off all night. Luna, can you lay down like a good girl? Yeah, okay. All right, I'm gonna get this all shuffled up. So, yeah, you don't have to join the queue. I'll just get you at the end. It's you're my lovely mod. You're exempt from having to join the queue. Ooh. Yeah, I was Ari, welcome. I was watching someone else's videos on YouTube, and they were saying that that's been a problem, and they were also talking during their live stream. Someone was saying how they've been unsubscribed from them when they know that they've subscribed, and they were saying, yeah, that's a common issue. So I don't, YouTube needs to get its crap together for sure. Yeah, that sometimes helps. If you toggle it off and then turn it back on, sometimes that helps. Um, but yeah, I kind of got this nice and shuffled. This baby has a nice little bend in it now. I need to straighten her out. Uh, get a nice anti-bend. You know what's funny is I could just shuffle the opposite direction, but that's so weird to me. I just cannot do it. Like shuffle it where the cards are facing up. I don't know what it is. Like it breaks my brain. So I'm just gonna lightly bend it. Kat, go ahead, put your question in the chat. Okay, let's see. Oh, I still have it on spooky mode. I guess I still have spooky cat, so I'll leave it. I'm riding the spooky high for as long as I can. um, okay, Kat, what can you expect soon or in the near future? Let's see, what can you expect? Are you expecting something, or are you just like, have you been manifesting stuff, or like applying for jobs or something of the sort? All right, we have the nice spread of cards. So we have the Judgment card, we have the Six of Wands, and then we have the Knight of Wands. I feel like I've noticed from last time to this time that we get a lot of wands as a community with this deck. So I'll just kind of go down the line here, and I think overall the biggest thing that you can expect, and I think that with these two wands cards here, I think that this is very soon. I would say maybe honestly a few days to like maybe a few weeks, really. You can expect a lot of this to start to be noticeable to you. Now, just to explain, sometimes when people are doing like just generalized readings for an overall situation and they want to know a time frame, this could just be a sign that things are starting, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to start, go through it, and complete it in that time frame. So for this, it feels more like a start of something. And specifically, it feels like it's a start of like a new journey. This is where you start to find a lot of clarity. Um, with whatever situations you're going through. Maybe you've been creatively or just in general, you've been in a bit of a rut and you're now starting to come out of it with this judgment card and you're starting to understand, how things are falling into place and things are starting to make more sense. And it's really it's like the culmination of whatever journey you've been on right now. And the reason I think of it more so as like creatively or having to do with whatever your passions are is because of these wands here. We have a lot of that fiery energy over here with the wands. And this is the Six of Wands. This is the card. It feels very successful for you. So whatever you've been going through, whatever path you've been trying to decide to go down, and as things start to become more clear, you're going to feel like you are now on the road to success. That's kind of how I see these two cards playing together, where you're finally feeling vindicated in the choices you made, vindicated in the actions you've taken. The Six of Wands just has it just reeks of feeling like you have achieved something and you feel very successful in that decision, or in that journey rather. The Knight of Wands is fun because this is the really enthusiastic, energetic knight. They like to be going and moving and always going on to the next best thing. I will warn though, be careful about being too rash in how you move through things, because sometimes the knight can be a little like squirrel where you see something shiny, you go towards it, and you're like, oh, something else. um so just be careful to focus and enjoy the moments of the successes. You don't have to keep going from thing to thing. It gives very much grind mode. It feels like you don't have to always be grinding. The thing about the knight though is when they find something that they're passionate about, and that especially the Knight of Wands, they are going to push towards it. So I think that's more the energy that you want to embody coming forward. But definitely, I would say if I were to, timing is so subjective overall, but if I were to judge, I would say that this is going to start to realize in your life pretty soon. So maybe, I don't know where you are, but here we have like the holidays coming up in the next few weeks. So maybe it has to do something around that. And also, I mentioned that the new moon is on Monday. So maybe it could be around that as well. You'll have to let me know. Ooh, I have fuzz all over the place and covered in cat hair now. Yeah, it definitely does sound fun, Kat. So good luck with that. Okay, go ahead, put your question in the chat. And I saw a few people join. Welcome, Spice Lover. Welcome to the queue, Luke. Oh, it's a new moon in Scorpio, and Scorpio is a fire sign, right? You're welcome. If you're enjoying the readings, guys, don't forget to like the video. I'm so bad with astrology. Oh no, Scorpio is ew, that's weird. Why is Scorpio water? I don't associate scorpions with water. Okay. Let's see. I recall you asking about the wand a while back, so let's see what will happen between you guys. Hey. I feel like Scorpios should be fire, but I feel like Aquarius should also be air. And then, I don't know, the water signs don't make sense to me. We have the Seven of Pentacles, the Devil, and then the Five of Wands. Or Aquarius should be water. Sorry, I said it backwards. Thank you. My bad, guys. That's why I don't really jive with astrology. Doesn't work with my brain. So I feel like there's a few things. There's a interesting dynamic here with this situation with you and Dewan. So I think at the crux of it, I worry that there's this like level of codependency that is being built up. Maybe the relationship between you guys isn't necessarily the healthiest, and um it's a little flip-floppy. So on one side, excuse me, on one side, we have the Seven of Pentacles, where I think on the surface, the facade feels like, oh, you kind of have this like stable relationship, and you know, there's like that groundedness that's happening. But the thing with the Seven of Wands is that it's more so the out of the Pentacles, it's really the card of toiling, where you're really in what's funny, not funny, but one of our community cards was perseverance. So that's what I feel out of this. Sometimes it could be nurturing. Like you can see this lady here, she's tending to her garden and trying to build it up, which can be a good thing. But other times um it can slip into the from the nurturing into the toiling. So that's one side of things. And then the other side, we have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands makes me think that sometimes you guys are not working as a team. And I feel like this is things that might come to fruition. You might have seen the seeds of this already, and maybe it hasn't fully realized. But with the Five of Wands, I feel like there's more competition than there should be. Um, and what I mean by that is like in relationships, there's always a push and drive to make each other better. I feel like, it's like the concept of growing together. And in order to do that, usually you're pushing each other in some kind of way. But instead, it feels more competitive. It doesn't feel symbiotic where you're both giving and taking. Instead, it feels like, you know, I'm gonna do better just because of something. I don't know. It feels unintentional. It's just the dynamic. And you ever have like those friendships or just relationships in general where you realize like they bring out a weird side of you and there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just when you reflect back on it, you're like, well, why did I act like that? I don't act like that around anyone else. So I think that's what's probably gonna pop up between you guys. Now, to put this in like reality and give you actionable advice, I would say that it doesn't have to be. If you recognize these things um popping up, then I would recommend just talking through it. If this is someone that you really like and really want to see things through, just recognize these little red flags and talk through them. I will say though that with the devil card, I think that this might be something that you have to put a lot of time and energy into, which is why we see this Seven of Pentacles here. But I will say, if we're like looking at this objectively, I don't think it's malicious, but it's still not the best situation, if that makes sense. So it's up to you to decide how you want to handle that, and or just be aware of these things as they pop up. But I don't think that there's anything inherently scary about it. It's just maybe not favorable. Not favorable conditions. um Whimsically, you are up next. Oh, that's funny. They actually removed the Halloween graphic, but because I didn't toggle it off, I still have it. So I'm gonna hold on to it until it like disappears. Let's see what you should focus on for manifesting. A lot of wands. We have the Death card, we have the Seven of Wands, and then we have the Two of Swords. Interesting balance here. So, um, sorry, I have to process this for a second. I think that um, I don't think necessarily you should dive into manifesting quite yet. I think actually this is saying, ugh, this is kind of saying that you need to discern for yourself what it is that you want. I don't generally like to give readings like that because it's not really answering your question. But let me explain what I'm seeing. So we have the death card. This is really a sign of like you being in this state of flux right now. It's not necessarily bad. Usually death is really saying like it's an end of a cycle and you're starting something new. You're in this like transformative state right now, and it's almost like, think of like pulling out clay. You just have a ball of clay and it could be anything right now, and I feel like that's the state that you're in. um so as you're in this state, I think that it's saying you need to kind of decide for yourself with this Two of Swords, decide what it is that you really want, and kind of make that decision for yourself. What is it that you want? What is it that you need? How can you bring, what do you need to bring in order to shape yourself? So this is more so not giving you something to focus on specifically for manifesting. This is explaining how to determine that for yourself. That's what I'm getting from this. All right. So with the Seven of Wands here in the center, this is really like, this is like standing on your own. So sometimes this can come off as like the competition card, but I feel like in this aspect, this is saying, what's it going to take for you to, what decisions, what things you need to decide on in order for you to stand in your own light? What do you need to bring in? What do you need to manifest to get to that point? So how can you shape yourself in an image that you enjoy? What do you need from yourself, or what do you need from your environment? So generally when I get readings like this, I'll ask the person, I'll ask you, when I'm talking and explaining things, usually something will pop into your mind, or a few things will pop into your mind, and I say to explore them. So as I've been explaining, as I've been kind of talking through this, whatever things are popping into your mind, I recommend you explore them and then come back after you kind of thought it through and dive deeper with a reading on those specific things. Or even just, just even write about it, right? And I think things will start to become clear once you put things down on paper. Or it could just be how my brain works. I like to see things visually, and then things start to make much more sense. And I can tell that it's a lot with this death card. But I feel like sometimes I can get objectively flippant answers. And normally, what I would do is with my paid readings, I usually will have people explain something that pops up, and then we'll do basically a more in-depth reading on that. So, well, that indecisiveness is this two of swords. That's what I was saying. Try to think of yourself as just a lump of clay that, if given the choice to shape yourself, what would you shape yourself in the image of? Like, how do you want to see yourself when you're shining in your own light, if that makes sense? But yeah, um it can be something as simple as a pros and cons list with different scenarios. It could be like, if you do a little writing exercise of, write out the scenario one, scenario two, whatever. And then, how does this scenario make me feel? What are the good feelings? What are the bad feelings? And that kind of thing. And then you can probably pull from them and see like a singular focus. It's a very shadow worky exercise. But definitely with this death card, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. So just be patient with yourself. Let yourself go through the process, and even though you feel indecisive, just start to take some small actions where you start to feel at least proactive about it. It doesn't mean that you need to make a decision tomorrow. Don't put that amount of pressure on yourself. Alrighty, Ari, you are up next. And then after Ari, I have Luke and then Spice Lover. You're welcome. Yeah, think on it a little bit. And then if you have like things that pop up specifically, come on back and we can dive deeper into them. Oh, I wish I had like, how some streamers, especially on Twitch, I don't see it on YouTube very often. They'll have like a little like cat cam or whatever. I wish I had that. Maybe I'll try to set that up one day because they're just so cute. They're laying in their little bed together. I literally have two cat beds, and they have to squeeze into one cat bed. And sometimes they'll fight over the one cat bed and then lay in it together anyway. Well, I am trying to replace some of my cameras. So it'll give a use for like a third camera, maybe like one of the old ones. Maybe this one will probably get the boot because it's the oldest out of the other cameras. So, last call for Ari. So yeah, if I do, I might try to figure out how to extend the cord. Actually, it's quite long. So, um, I know, Luke. I'm an only child, so I'm learning a lot about siblings through them. Alrighty, Luke, go ahead, add your question. Ari, if you come back, you can just rejoin the queue. Um, but I'm excited. I hope the camera that I want goes on sale for Black Friday. I debated, guys, for you, debated very hard on what camera to upgrade to, and I opted for a webcam, even though like a SLR camera would be a little better, but the rigging is so, it's a lot. Like you need to make sure that your rigs are weighted enough to hold the camera and the lens, and you need to have dummy batteries plugged in. So it's just like I'm adding 25 million more cords to my setup, and it doesn't. It doesn't jive with me. All right, insight into your Ko-Fi business. Let's see, insight into your Ko-Fi business. One more card. Come on, last card. There we go. Oops. So we have, for once, no wands, which is very surprising. We have the King of Cups, we have the Sun card, and then we have the Knight of Swords. I'm going to start in the middle with this Sun card here. We have this happy little Sun card. I think that one of the things, if you don't take anything else away from it, make the Ko-Fi thing fun for you. It will be a lot easier if you allow the process to be fun, because I know from experience that there's a lot of tedium in setting up shops. There's a lot of trial and error. It can be very frustrating. It's very difficult because you have to advertise, bring in your own traffic. So make the process fun. Don't put that pressure on yourself. And yeah, that's so this is very much a you thing in this whole thing. So I think, if you take nothing else away from anything else I say, enjoy the process. And then over here we have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is, I would say, approach the Ko-Fi thing um, with this duality between the king energy, which has a lot of thoughtfulness. There's a lot of wisdom that is going on. So this could also mean you might need to do a little research, or you can just study other people's shops that are similar to yours. That's kind of what I did. I followed similar creators, or whatever. So try to follow that, nurture that side of things where you're starting to build up the understanding of what other people are doing, and learning from them. And I see a lot of that too in the Knight of Swords. So there's still that, like, thoughtfulness that needs to go on. But one of the warning signs of the Knight of Swords is, right, the knights, I always say, are very action oriented. The king is very settled and knows kind of what they need to do, and they're patient about it. The knights, not so much. So be careful about rushing into things, rushing from one thing to another, because I know we talked about it. And I mentioned a moment ago, there is going to be some trial and error. So you have to let things kind of run through before you go on to something else, like before you decide it doesn't work and go on to something else. And at the end of the day, especially since this is your significator card or signifier card, I think at the end of the day, it all boils back to you, right? Where you need to sit, be a little patient with how things are going, and just, and I like that he's sitting too. Just sit with things for a little bit. It, excuse me. This is not going to be something that happens overnight. You're not going to set up your Ko-Fi. Oh my gosh! And speaking of sibling fights. So the Ko-Fi thing is not going to be something that becomes like an overnight success. It's going to take a lot of work, a lot of patience. So be careful about being too hasty with the decisions that you're making. Let things work and basically see what does and does not work, and be patient with those decisions. But I would say overall, this looks like a general, like, kind of energy that you would get from like a really new startup. So just Be patient, kind of sit with things, be willing to nurture stuff. The kids are indeed fighting. Uh, looks like Luna won. So yeah, there's really nothing actionable in this right now. So I feel like maybe this is the start of things. And you can always do a more in-depth reading look later, where you decide, what are the next steps that you need to take or something like that. This is more so setting expectations for your business, the mindset that you should go into, just the overall understanding of how the process is going to go. So that is your insight for the evening. Alrighty, Spice Lover, go ahead, put your question in the chat. And then after Spice Lover, I will finish up with Ari. All right. I'll do the career one for you, Spice Lover. All right, let's see what is going on with your current career. What guidance do we have? Next card, guidance. Last card. Oof, there we go. Oh gosh, Apollo's in the hallway like fussing. All right. We have the Four of Swords, Six of Swords, and then the Page of Wands. So with your career, I think that I think two things kind of have to happen before other things happen. So with the Four of Swords, if you have the ability to, um, I don't know where you're located. We're coming up to the holidays. I would say take some vacation time, take a break to step away from the job for a moment, so that way you can get a clearer idea of what's going on. So I don't know if things. I don't know if I don't feel like I am projecting, but I think that overall, looking at this, I don't think your career is necessarily checking off all the boxes for what you're looking for right now. And that can be a little difficult when you're kind of immersed in it. So give yourself time away, to just sit and reflect on that. Give yourself a break to basically, rest and rejuvenate kind of thing. With the Six of Swords, this is where I see a lot of like just needing to move on. So, uh it doesn't mean that your career choice is bad. I think that sometimes people don't realize the different niches in careers, and I think that maybe that's what's going on, needing to niche down in what you're actually looking for, because what you're currently doing isn't going to really serve ultimately what it is that you are passionate about. So with the Page of Wands, this is where you are, you know, finding new ventures, finding new opportunities. This is where you get to explore the different things that really bring you joy, that you're really passionate about. And I don't think you're able to do that with what's going on. And if you don't take that break in order to reflect on it, it can become um combustive, maybe. Just and I don't mean that to sound so like ominous. I just mean that there's going to be a point where it's just like the writing's on the wall, where you just don't feel like this is right for you. So I would say that for the near term actions, give yourself a break. Take some vacation if you're able to. If you're not, just try some ways to make time for yourself where you're not thinking about work. That could mean, like a coin jar or something. Every time you think about work, you put a coin in the jar kind of thing. But start while you're reflecting on what it is that you really want, you need to decide what your pivot is going to look like. So that might mean walking away from your career choice altogether, or it could just mean walking away from the job that you've chosen into a different, better position that matches with your actual goals. So there's a disconnect that's happening that I think you need to focus on. I know you asked about if you move from your current home. I didn't really ask about that, but the Six of Swords can sometimes reflect that. Not too much, but I only do one topic at a time, so I went with that one. Hope that was okay. It's funny because while I was giving that reading, Apollo did come back, and he's now laying in the bed, and Luna's gone. So guess he won in the end. He pitched a fit, and Luna was like, "Okay, whatever." Alrighty, Ari, you are up next. You're the last one in my queue, and then still, if you would like one, just hang out. You're welcome, Spice. Go ahead, put your question. If you put it, I can't see it. I don't think it's there yet. Okay. I feel like this is the cat syndrome, where like you ever go to someone's house and the cat like hones in on the one person that doesn't like cats. Let's see what's going on. Let's see why they are not reciprocating. See, questions like this are hard because everybody's personal preferences are just so specific. All right, next card. Ooh, Judgment makes a reappearance. It's our only repeat card of the night, I think. So we have the Tower, we have Judgment, and then we have the Page of Pentacles. I almost thought you were gonna get all majors for a second, which would have been insane. I'll start in the middle and then work my way out. The Judgment card, I feel like this is basically a sign that it's just sometimes the timing is wrong with people, and it's just things don't sync up. So one of the things about the Judgment card is that we have to remember, while we are judging others, right? We're deciding who's cute, who's not, based off of your own personal preferences. They're doing that to us as well. And it's one of those things that, even though it is personal, you can't take personally. Because like I was saying earlier, as I was shuffling, everyone's personal preferences are just so diverse. If you're going to try to understand that, you might as well try to get the answer to the universe, right? But in terms of what you can do for yourself is reset those expectations. Just understand that, maybe you're not looking in the right places. Maybe, if you've been doing the same thing over and over, or like using the same method to meet people, it's not working out for you. So there needs to be like an understanding that that's happening. So this feels more so like this. I read this deck upright, so just want to flip that for you guys, just in case you guys go back and look at this later. Um, so I think what that means is that you need to assess how you're meeting people, right? Because I think that sometimes people just stumble upon each other. Other times people are looking, but when they're actively looking, they can sometimes fall into a pattern, and you have to be careful, because if that pattern's not working out for you, then you got to find something else. Over here we have the Tower. This is really like saying that sometimes you just have to give into the process a little. The Tower card really suggests that it really suggests a continuance of what I was saying before. You need to break down those walls, get back to the foundations of what you're looking for, right? Because while yes, we need to be attracted to people, what else attracts you to people? What makes someone cute? Like, what about them non-physically makes them attractive? Um and if you can kind of get to those roots, maybe you can figure out, okay, these guys tend to like to do this, but I'm not doing that. So maybe I need to find ways to actually overlap and intermingle with those people. Um, Stuff like that. So I think there's really a need to dive deep, get to the core of, what it is you're truly looking for. Because it can't just be physical, because that's not conducive to like an actual long-term relationship. There has to be something else. So what is that something else, and how can you find that overlap to find people? What and I'll give an example. Let me give like a tangible example, right? So if you notice that you really enjoy people that have like physical hobbies, like they play basketball or they cycle or they, what's that new thing white people like now, pickleball, like maybe join a club and make it more organic, if that's something that you have the time to do. Just giving you an example, right? So you're now ooh, you got to figure that part out. Like, not, I mean, you don't. So I'm not saying like find people who you're not physically attracted to just because they have a nice personality. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there has to be a combo of the two, because literally, if it's just physical, it's a whole like the lights are on but nobody's home kind of relationship. There's no substance, because what are you guys gonna like actually connect with? You know what I mean? So but that was my literal example. Let's talk about this page of pentacles for a little bit. I like that the page is here, because the page has a really youthful energy. Pages are really willing to sit and learn about stuff. So when it comes to the pentacles, they're really willing to sit and learn what they need in life to find that stability. Um so what is it that you, for example, have been doing but has been lacking um in terms of this like dating process and finding people? Because there's probably something that there's always something we can do, or at least I like to say, when I'm doing my readings, I like to give power to the current, So, what is it that you can do to put yourself in a better place to find the people that you're that you like and actually like you back, someone of actual substance? I also like that the page is here because the page represents like opportunity as well. Um, so I think that this is saying, open yourself up to different opportunities. You might surprise yourself. You just have to give yourself the chance to sit and understand yourself a little better, especially with the weird combination of these cards, right? Because if you zoom out here, what this looks like it's saying, like if I'm giving you all the detail, but if I just were to zoom out and summarize this, it's the wrong path and it's leading to destruction, and you're not finding the opportunities that you're looking for. That's kind of what I would pull out of this. So you need to find just find how you can do this process better. And I think a lot of that is going to boil down to understanding the correlation between, the physical and non-physical attributes of people, and how you can go about that process of meeting them, because whatever you're doing is not working for you. And one of the things that we have to accept sometimes, and we all, I know I struggle with it because as a Taurus, I'm always right, but sometimes we have to accept that the methods that we're doing are not working, and it's okay to do that. It's hard to do, but when they're not working, what can you do to do better? But and the thing is, you can't compare yourself to other people, right? Because they're not you. You're not them. That's You never will be. They never will be. And there's all comparing yourself. This is outside of this reading. All comparing yourself is going to do is upset you. There's nothing beneficial coming out of comparing yourself to others. You just have to remember that you're an individual. They're individuals. You're never going to be the same. You might be similar in some aspects, but you're never going to be the same. And what is it like about those guys that you like that you think the other girls have? And if they're healthy relationships, what is it that they actually like about each other? Because it's, I promise you, it's not just physical. I can always trust Luke to give me that Taurus solidarity. Yeah, and I think the thing too that you're missing is, if you don't know these people well, you probably don't understand the inner workings of their relationship. So there's probably something deeper that's going on. Let me flip this back up right before I forget. Syl, did you still want a reading? You're welcome. Okay, sounds good. Ooh, getting into blogging. Okay. I've never heard of Substack. Is it like Blogger? Just general curiosity, irrelevant to the reading. All right, let's see. You want to know what you can expect next year, setting all of this up, setting your blogging up. Ooh, one more card. Oh, never heard of it. I haven't been in the blogging world in a long time, though. So, ooh, the Six of Wands makes a reappearance. Yeah, Ari, actually, it's funny you say that because you know what's naturally charming, right? That was something really to dive into because that's actually a personality trait. You're just not honing in enough, I guess, maybe to recognize it. So, what makes someone naturally charming? Intelligence, funny, like those weird little buzzwords, stuff like that. Okay. So you have the strength card, we have the ace of wands, and then the six of wands. So I think overall, this is a really good idea for you. And I think that it really is going to um, mm, make your content really well rounded. So it's really going to put some like the the turn of phrase meat and potatoes kind of thing, meat on the bones kind of idea. It's really going to give your content more depth. And um, I think being able to do another, mm, what is it? Format of content is actually going to be really nice for you because you're already like really organized. You kind of already have like a game plan in mind. So I think that that part is already easy. This is just sort of deciding how well it's going to fit in. And I think it's going to be a really nice, um, or not foundation, really nice complement to what you're already doing. So the Ace of Wands, really awesome here. This is like, so I think that next year you can start to see how this really, brings new things into your journey as a content creator. So with this ace of wands, I feel like you're going to discover new things that you really enjoy about being a content creator. It's really going to open up a lot of different avenues, and this could also suggest that you might delve into new like sponsorship opportunities, I would say. So like for instance, right now you've been getting in with the publishers and stuff, but I'm sure I'm not a blogger, so I could just be making this up, but I'm sure there are people that really like to cater towards bloggers versus video content creators, and that could open up doors for other opportunities as well. And then ultimately, here with the Six of Wands, I feel like it's quite obvious here how this just reeks of success. There's like this, I think that it would be a really great achievement for you next year. So if you set up the goal to do that, it's something very easily introduced into your current workflow, something that's also easily just melds very simply and cohesively into what you already do. And I think that it's a really easily achievable goal for you. So it seems very natural, seems very good. So if you're a little wishy-washy on whether you should go for it, I think that you should. Um, and a lot of the longer written form content meshes well with the longer video content and also meshes really well with the short form content of Instagram. So you can you could repurpose a lot of content in different ways because of that. So I think you should totally go for it. This seems right up your alley. I think it would go really well for your, just me giving my 2 cents now. I think that it would really go well with your knack for like planning and executing. So, I think that you should totally go for it. I can't wait to see what you do. I'm not much into reading blogs anymore because reading, but I totally like will share and support any, any blogs or anything that you do. So, but yeah, strength, Ace of Wands, Six of Wands, definitely green light. Go for it. Oof. All right. Well, ooh, let me see. Actually, before I put this away, let me pull a blessing card for you still. See what kind of blessing you have around this new endeavor of blogging. Ooh, you got strength twice. Okay, let me read this card. Okay. So this is a Black Panther, and look at the markings. Can you? Yeah, you guys can see that a little bit. So it says you're stronger than you think. You possess an inner strength and courage that can help you overcome any challenges. You have the inner strength required to navigate the situation. So I feel like this is kind of saying what I already mentioned. I was like, you already have the skills, the know-how, you have the diligence to do this. You just have to do it. I love that. Pairs so beautifully. Okay, I'm fangirling over this pairing here. But if you don't have any other questions, I'm gonna wrap up for the night. I didn't even need to actually close my queue, but my queue is closed. So if you're gonna be hanging out here on Sunday, Syl and I are going to finally find out if we survived the zombie apocalypse that actually was supposed to happen back in October for Spooky Month, but we got overcome by events. So we're going to see in November if we survived the zombie apocalypse. So join us on Sunday. You can find out if you survived by pulling your cards along with us and letting know if our little band of miscreants survive the zompocalypse. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this, make sure you give it a like, hit that, well, you guys are already subscribed, but if you're watching this later, hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See you guys on Sunday. Bye.